actually came to the Scouting Jamboree down in West Virginia this last summer and stopped by our tent, which we have on display, to educate the scouting leaders as well as the scouts about what we do in Shelter Box. So it's kind of a neat opportunity to be with an organization that does have widespread impact on the world. Now, I will say our challenge that's been before us now has created some challenges, that's for sure, when you're trying to set up these tents, because we have volunteers. We do not pay anybody to go set up these tents. We pay expenses, but a part of that $1,000 for a Shelter Box sponsorship includes an average cost of expenses of the person going to that affected area, whether it be Nigeria, Africa, wherever. But it also it includes, the typical meals, but no pay to these people. They do it on a volunteer basis. They educate the communities to set them up, and then each community has their own people that they go educate others, and it's just like a rippling effect where we can set up these boxes. Probably one of the biggest examples that I give is about 6-7 years ago when we had things hit in Haiti, if you remember that situation. We sent over 32,000 Shelter Box and tents to Haiti. That's been our largest deployment in our history, and we were able to do that without anybody getting hurt, but we did it by the help of the scouts in these areas, as well as Rotarians, as well as the volunteers that we send over. And by the way, if anybody would like to be a volunteer to go on some of these deployments, let me know. We have a special training camp down in Houston, Texas by a Rotarian. You go down and spend a couple weeks out in the wilderness, and they educate you on what they go through in setting these tents up. And it's really a great opportunity if that is your thing to do. But it's a great opportunity to see what Shelter Box and Rotary has done together. So right now, we are responding to about 5 cases or 5 situations, actually 6, I'm sorry. We're in Ethiopia and Syria, of course, with the humanitarian crisis in Syria, with all things going on with the killing of the children and the mothers and all that. So we're setting up tents not in Syria, but on the outskirts and the borders around Syria, so that the women and children can go and feel protected by those governments. We're in Nigeria, Cameroon, and Somalia. So we're doing all these kind of things right as we actually speak right now. And it's certainly been a challenge to, especially our deployment team, because we can't do the face-to-face building of these assembly tents than what we used to. So we're doing a lot of this by what we're doing here and educating communities, that those individuals that do have the technical skills. But and what we're doing is really supporting the social distancing, the distance between people with the emergency shelter. Number 2, we're improving access to good hygiene, which is very, very important, as you all well know. And we're promoting a better health life with these people, really looking at what we can do from a shelter perspective to provide them that place where they can go home, be safe, have whatever meal they have, which is not a lot. But we want to make sure that they understand that where they're trying to help in this critical time of in our history. And then we're also looking at is how we modify how we distribute our shelter boxes. In the past, we've pretty much been able to put them on an airplane, put them on a boat. But what happens when all that happens is the prices go up on a lot of this stuff. So we're trying to work in different ways in promoting how we can get volunteers and leaders throughout the world to help us in these shelter boxes to wherever is needed. So that's kind of where we are as a quick overview of what we're doing in Shelter Box. We need Rotary support. We need your support. We're trying to do those various things to raise money, and we know money's going to be tough right now. And I have talked to Mark about that, the president of Rotary, and we're going to do, I know they're going to do whatever they can, but they can't lose their focus on eradicating polio, because the concern is that it could be resurfacing even at a greater length than what it is now. So those are some of the things that we're doing. I did meet the new CEO of Shelter Box International, who is in England, and he has been been involved with NATO. He's been in London, England, and worked. He was a Marine, both Army and Marines. So he served both areas, so he kind of knows that piece of what it takes to support people who've lost everything. And I always look back, because since I have met Tom and so on, it's amazing what this man did, starting this organization out of the basement of his home, then went to his garage, and now it's developed, having 17 affiliates in the world just 20 years ago. So I have to commend him for that and for what he saw the foresight in doing to help not only Rotarians, but those throughout the world who really need our help. I could go on for another 3.5 hours, but Jim said I couldn't do that. But has anybody had any questions they would like to ask that you heard about? Or if I don't have an answer, I guarantee I will get back with you with an answer.
I do have one question.
I do too.
Yes.
You being in the military, and you mentioned the gentleman also prior military in England.
Yes.
Would it be possible, a lot of times when we have these disasters, I guess, or whatever you want to call it, incidents, it seems a lot of times that there are militaries from different countries that are responding with aid. Would it be a possibility that possibly some of these militaries could transport the shelter boxes to these areas?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. In the actual thing, we've been doing that. What we're finding, unfortunately, is everyone is so concerned about what's happening in their own country right now. They're hesitant on letting that mechanism go with the transportation through the military. That doesn't mean it won't happen, but that's what we're finding out by some of the leaders in these other areas, especially those connected through Rotary to the government and so on. But we've had discussions about that, and if we can do that, certainly we will. But it's the countries with all this going on in the world, and with, I hate to use the word news media, but hasn't helped everything in every way, if you know what I mean. I hope I don't offend anybody. But there is that panic out there. We got to protect our own first. Where the United States is, we want to help others. So yeah,
Okay.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that's it. That was my question.
I have a quick question. This is Will Miller. I'm in the eClub of Southeast USA and Caribbean.
Okay.
I had been told by a regional shelter box rep that shelter box had decided that they were not going to support G7 countries. And I have been trying to verify that statement through all kinds of sources unsuccessfully at this point. Do you have any information on that particular decision or lack thereof?
The answer is I do not, but trust me, I will find out. They say they're not supporting G7 countries.
That was the statement that I received, that there had been a decision at headquarters that they were going to focus on third world countries and were not going to support G7 countries, which to me would be problematic since a large portion of their funding comes from North America.
That is interesting. I have not heard that. I was just on the phone with the president of Shelterbox USA just a couple of days ago, and I will find that out. Will.
Yeah, I really appreciate that because I've asked several representatives at our All Florida Pets Shelterbox rep. I even asked the question via the Shelterbox website, and I have gotten no reply from anyone yet.
I will get an answer for you, I assure you. I don't have it myself. I'm sorry, but I will find out. Do you want me to call you, or how do you want me to communicate this back, Jim?
I can give you my email address here. Let me do let me see if I can
do a chat.
I can get it to Jack.
Okay, Jim will get it to me.
Okay.
Okay, Will. But I promise you I will check that out immediately.
Let's see. I just sent it to Marsha.
That's all right. She's right. She's hey, Mo, she'll give it to me.
Now,
But
what is?
I will find it out. I had not heard that. No.
Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else? Any questions at all?
I had a question, and that is on the reusability of the materials. Are these tents and whatever supplied one time, or are they collected and redeployed?
Good question. It all depends on how they're treated in the field. And what we have found out over the years, and this is just through experience, to try to go back and recoup the tents and the shovels and sleeping bags and cooking utensils, stoves, it's not economically feasible to do it. It's less expensive to supply another shelter box.
Mm-hmm.
So the answer is we do not go back, because we've tried that, and it just gets into chaos when you're trying to locate here and there. And like in Haiti, where do you go throughout Haiti with the 32,000? It's not economically feasible. We'd
Right.
like to, but right now we've not been able to do that.
Okay.
And I will say, just so you know, on a sponsorship of a shelter box, we do $1,000, which includes everything, transportation, which includes getting people there, not paying them, but getting their transportation paid for, and all supplies, has been $1,000 since I've been on the board since 2007. We have not increased that. We've always negotiated better pricing with less pricing with better or better quality. We don't go down on the quality of what we have. We did add we added a feature about 2 years ago, and it's called a solar light. And if anybody watched Shark Tank, the two ladies that founded this solar light organization, it's in a plastic, like a pillow, and you turn on a solar generated, and the kids can use it as light for their light at night going to the bathroom or wherever. But during the day, it can be charged up, and we put at least 1 to 2 of those in each of the boxes that we have to help in that area, especially when you're up in the mountains and you can't see a lot and that kind of stuff, so you don't know where you're walking. So Shark Tank has been a part of Shelter Box, and they were on it. I actually got to meet one of the co-founders back in our February meeting, and it's just fantastic. But we do things like that. We got a filtration system that filters out 18,000 liters of water before the filter has to be changed. So we're trying to upgrade everything, keeping a similar quality or better quality for a less price. That's why we've been at $1,000 for all these years.
Are you a 501c3?
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Yes, sir.
It seems to me you could probably obtain a lot of material just via donations too.
Yeah, we'll take any donation,
Yeah.
and combine it, and actually we will go make sure those things are purchased. We do modify a couple things. I do want to add something I forgot to say. To go into a country, we have to be invited in. We can't rush in as Rotary or Shelter Box. Here we are. We have to have the government of that country invite us into that country. So there are some places, if you've heard, well, you weren't here. Well, we have to be invited in. That's part of it. We just don't rush in. Some countries think they can do so much without us. That's fine. That's their decision. But we get in through Rotary. Rotarians get us into these areas because there are Rotarians, up the government chain of command that can help make that happen. Now, in the United States, I'm going to be very candid with you. We have not been successful because Rotary, I'll put it this way. We have so many great organizations, Red Cross, FEMA, all that usually we're the last thing to be thought about because people don't want to live in tents. They want to be in FEMA trailers. So we have not been a big response team organization to the U.S., even though we've done it. Don't get me wrong. We have responded to the hurricanes down in New Orleans and tornadoes and so on, and up in New Jersey. But our main response has been to those countries that just don't have much of an infrastructure to just have their people survive. I'm sorry, but anything else? And if you want to help, whether it's $1, $5, whatever, we combine that effort. And I can get Jim all the information. You make out the check to Shuttlebox USA, and we will take it from there. We have a staff that will make sure that happens, and provide that help throughout the world, wherever it may be.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to be a response team member, don't forget that. I'd love to have you being a response team member. Volunteer to go to some of these countries. The biggest thing to be a response team member is how you deal with people, which all Rotarians should be doing well, And then there is some physical aspects of it. Don't get me wrong. We've had as high as our SRTs over response team members and about age about 75 to 80. We've done that. They've gone through the training in Texas.
Okay.
Anything else? No?
Thank you.